This week it's Sarah and I launch hangout for the Virgin Galactic Unity22 mission. A great success. We had some issues with the audio and troubleshooting, but we've got this episode here. Catch the recap of everything that happened this weekend, the dawn of a new space age. Welcome everybody to Today in Space. We're going here live on Facebook. Thank you for everyone for being patient. I think we just posted a video for 45 seconds of me looking at a camera, not knowing I was on screen. But today we are going live for the Unity22 mission, Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed mission into the edge of space, which is going to be part of our conversation today. Joining us today, I am your engineer for today, Alex Giampanos, podcast host as usual from the East Coast. With us today, we have our scientist, Sarah. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey there.
She is off camera. We will be getting her camera eventually here. But just to get things up and running, it's been a while since we've done a live broadcast. So the actual Virgin Galactic broadcast starts at 10:30. So we figured we'd jump on here, share a little bit. We had some stuff prepped for a podcast episode. We figured, hey, let's go over that stuff now. The big topic, obviously, today, Richard Branson, one of the billionaires here. I think he's a billionaire. Regardless, this is a billionaire's space race at the moment. We've got Richard Branson today being the first of these billionaires to actually go or attempt to go to space. He's there. The 6 people who are going to be part of the crew, and the 2 pilots flying both the Unity22 spacecraft. It's actually going to orbit. Yep. Okay. So he is a billionaire. 5.9 billion. So this is the beautiful thing about having someone else here on the podcast to pull up stuff, Google it, make sure we're not spreading misinformation. So thank you. Yes, Richard Branson, obviously, we've got Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin. He recently just auctioned off a ticket for a flight on the first trip up on New Shepard, which is their rocket. That's going to be the Bezos brothers, Wally Funk, who is a pretty sweet person. She's a woman from the early Mercury 13 days. She was saying she has an FAA clearance for like a license to fly pretty much anything the FAA will license. So she's a regular pilot. She knows her stuff. Even back in the Mercury 13 days, she was outperforming all the men. And of course, given the times, didn't happen. But she was given this flight, the opportunity to go up to the edge of space with Jeff Bezos, which is awesome. I don't think anyone else deserves that more.
Yeah, did you posted that video, right? Of her.
If I might not
add it in the.
Yeah, we'll have it in this week's episode. And in the description for every episode, we have links to all the things that we talk about, or at least we try to make sure that we do, and mention it if we don't. But I will add that in. It's a great video. Goes over, Wally talks about her history, what it's meant for her, and it's also kind of seeing Jeff Bezos in a human light, which, depending on if you want to actually see that is up to you. But it was good to just, the internet makes us look at people so weird sometimes. So it's good to see Jeff Bezos happy, smiling with another human being and not controlling robotic arms at the Amazon lab. So
she's a really cool lady with a really inspiring story.
She is.
Hit me right in the feels.
All right, we're going to add that for next time. The other billionaire, obviously, he's probably the person we talk about more than anybody else of the billionaires, is Elon Musk. Elon and the SpaceX army of engineers that have made reusable spaceflight possible. Gwynne Shotwell, the president and COO, who's made it so that all the glue that sticks together the whole company, so that all the engineers want to stay. The knowledge that everyone has been there is they want to work, they want to do these amazing things that they push crazy deadlines on them for, and also selling it to the industry. They have literally sold NASA on reigniting our ability to send NASA astronauts. And today, with this Virgin Galactic launch, this is a essentially fully citizen mission, other than the pilots who are trained to do this. This is when we all start having a chance to go to space. It's pretty crazy. If you have money, that's this is very true.
I don't know if I'd quite say everyone.
No, it's true. Let's talk about the math. That's a great point. So $28 million to auction off a seat on Jeff Bezos's rocket for SpaceX. Right now, there's the St. Jude's Inspiration 4 mission, right? So people actually applied to be a part of that. So that's an option that you wouldn't have to pay for it. Do we have a question coming in?
Yeah, no, Kristen, the launch did not start yet. It's going to go off at 10:30.
10:30. That's right. So we got another 10 minutes here.
Mhm.
And you know what? Let's switch over. I'm going to get set up here so that we have that in the background.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, 10:30.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Angela, for sharing this with the folks out there. I really do appreciate it. What has this been like for you as someone who is maybe not as tapped into this as I am? What does this kind of a mission mean for you?
I mean, we haven't gotten fully into it yet, but for me, it was interesting to kind of learn about what the edge of space kind of meant when they say that we're going to the edge of space. I'm like, how far is that? So that was something interesting for me to know. But just the fact that we're getting to the place where citizens are going into space again. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
To me. I mean, other than a highly trained astronaut, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Being a part of the astronaut corps, which is a very, very select group of people.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
With all these requirements, like perfect vision, I think that's true.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
screwed.
can look that up.
So that brings up a great point about, this is something that I think a lot of the space communicators out there are talking about is this, what they're all going to space, but not really going to space. So let's break that down. So Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic are going to the edge of space. The Kaman Line is a point we put up at a certain altitude that basically says that internationally recognized as the edge of space, right? They've got to put a line on it at some point. And here it's defined as 100 kilometers or 54 nautical miles, 62 miles above the Earth, 330,000 feet. And there's a pretty interesting few graphics out there that show the difference. I mean, at that point, once you get up to 100 kilometers, you're passing the point where you might see some meteors. You're above where weather balloons are going to go, and obviously, you're way above Mount Everest and where commercial planes go. So you're looking at the mesosphere and the thermosphere of the atmosphere that you're entering. So extremely thin areas. It's right about the edge where auroras start to be created in the atmosphere. So that gives you kind of an idea. If auroras are happening, that means
Northern Lights. Aurora Borealis.
Radiation, electromagnetic radiation hitting the atmosphere, which means you're starting to have less protection, right? So that your vehicle has to be even more suited for both air and space. And that's the interesting thing about Unity22 is they're using the VSS-E, which is a plane that's built specifically to connect that launcher to the bottom. Here, let me pull that up here so we can take a look at this. So for the launcher, so Virgin Galactic's got a pretty good website. They've got everything set up. So when the launcher goes up, we've got essentially two pilots, right? They're going to be going up, flying this up. And they're doing this in unison with the people inside the actual spacecraft, Unity22, which gets dropped from the middle here, and then actually ignites its rocket engine and tilts itself up to go to the edge of space. So you can see just how complicated this is, right? This is how a lot of these things start up. They're extremely trained pilots that can adjust to the situation, all the little tiny things that may not be theoretically perfect. They're the ones making the adjustments on those ships to make this perform as it's supposed to. And this will eventually become something that's automated, right? That's always the dream, is like have a computer do it so it's safer, it knows all the different things. But this is so early that they need to figure it out first. So they'll take all that data from these flights and pack them together to make some kind of an automated system that will do that for you. So the other thing that's pretty cool is Spaceport America, which is in New Mexico. I remember seeing this when I first wanted to be an aerospace engineer. This was built, I think it's in 2006. So I was a junior in high school, just barely playing with the idea of becoming an aerospace engineer. And I remember at the time it was a big deal. There was, the space shuttle was still in full force. So there was still this idea that these plane-like ships were going to be able to go in and out. We'd have all these tiny ships going into space. Yes.
Mick says hi.
Hey, Mick. How are you? Sorry, I couldn't figure out that stream thing, but we'll figure it out for the future. The Scene Snobs, which is a great network that we're happy to be a part of. I have just had a ton going on. We haven't fully gotten it together, but if you're into movies, if you're into horror and sci-fi and film production in general, Scene Snobs is the place for you, and it's obviously a network where you can see a whole bunch of independent podcasts that are on there. Mick's doing a great job of building a community there, and of course, we've had Mick on the podcast too. So yeah, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
About 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, I've got it hooked up here.